Wonder what happens when you mix hot lava and chicken? Uh-oh!
It's no longer whispers behind the scenes or subtle jabs on social media. Rachel Zegler is visibly struggling, and the pressure is now playing out in full public view. After spending over a year defending Disney's live-action Snow White remake, a film marketed as a bold reimagining of the classic fairy tale, Zegler now finds herself in the middle of one of the most embarrassing box office collapses in modern Disney history. And adding salt to the wound, a family-friendly video game movie based on pixelated blocks, Minecraft, is absolutely dominating in theaters, becoming a cultural phenomenon that nobody saw coming. For months, Zegler had been the face of Disney's progressive pivot, a new kind of Snow White meant to reflect modern values. But as the film crumbles financially and critically, sources close to the actress suggest she's privately reaching out for help. Insiders claim she's now actively seeking therapy, struggling to manage the mounting backlash, internet mockery, and the sheer emotional toll of watching what was supposed to be her breakout triumph fall apart so publicly. But instead of owning the moment and acknowledging potential missteps, Rachel has reportedly started deflecting blame, not toward the writing, not toward the tone of the movie, not even the often criticized press tour. Instead, according to several industry whispers, Zegler has astonishingly suggested that one of the biggest culprits behind Snow White's underperformance is the unexpected success of Minecraft. Yes, Minecraft, a video game movie filled with blocky visuals, zombie creepers, and lighthearted adventure, is now being blamed at least partly for one of Disney's biggest flops in decades. To call this a deflection would be putting it mildly. Minecraft shattered expectations, crossing the $700 million mark globally in less than 20 days, a feat that is more than 3 times what Snow White managed to scrape together in 3 full months. Snow White, once revered as Disney's most iconic intellectual property, is now being decimated by digital pickaxes and lava traps. The humiliation is not just numeric, it's symbolic. One was born from legacy, the other from pixels. Yet, it was the game movie that captured hearts, wallets, and headlines. But the real story isn't just about dollars, it's about narrative failure, broken audience trust, and a celebrity under siege. Rachel Zegler's public persona has shifted dramatically from rising star to reluctant figurehead of a film that audiences have rejected not just because of content, but because of tone, delivery, and perception. Clips of Zegler from earlier interviews have resurfaced, showing her visibly emotional and even close to tears as she tried to articulate the pressure and hatred she felt long before the film's release. That time, many sympathized with her. She was a young actress facing a tidal wave of critique, much of it online, brutal, and often misogynistic. But time changes context, and after months of controversial interviews, passive-aggressive comments, and tone-deaf public statements, even her most loyal fans have begun to waver. What began as a promising opportunity to reinvent a timeless tale has turned into a case study in how not to manage a franchise, a press tour, or a character legacy. It wasn't just the backlash itself that proved toxic, it was how Zegler handled it. She pointed to social media trolls, vague industry pressures, and even hinted at difficult co-star dynamics. Yet, in all her public commentary, one thing seemed consistently missing: accountability. What made this implosion even more jarring was the silent contrast playing out across the industry. As Snow White stumbled, Minecraft soared, and the face of that victory, none other than Jack Black. Beloved actor, comedian, and musician, didn't throw shade, didn't mock competitors, and didn't dive into cultural debates. Instead, he embraced the project with infectious joy, respect, and gratitude. In a recent interview, Jack Black was asked about his involvement in Minecraft. He responded with a signature grin and a humble quip: "An actor prepares, so I've been exclusive to Minecraft for the last month and a half. All Minecraft, all the time. I don't want to brag, but it's kind of a big deal." He talked about diving back into the game so he could bond with his kids, learn its mechanics, and fully immerse himself in the world he was about to represent on screen. It wasn't a lecture, it wasn't a statement, it was just a guy talking about having fun and respecting his role. And it landed. That single moment crystallized what audiences are craving: authenticity, fun, and a lack of condescension. Jack Black wasn't trying to deconstruct a franchise. He wasn't trying to turn a family film into a political statement. He was just happy to be part of the ride. Meanwhile, Zegler's early remarks about the original Snow White, comments where she dismissed the story as outdated, referred to the prince as a stalker, and criticized the original film's romantic ideals, have come back to haunt her. Many fans of the original felt alienated. It wasn't just that the remake was different, it was that it seemed ashamed of its roots. The contrast in public perception became meme-worthy. One viral parody video featured Jack Black's Minecraft avatar roasting a chicken in lava, with the chicken edited to bear Rachel Zegler's face. It was dark, a bit savage, but also symbolic of a deeper cultural reaction. Jack Black had become the unintentional symbol of what fans miss: lighthearted adventure, self-aware humor, and nostalgic respect. Zegler, in contrast, had become emblematic of what audiences resent: messaging over magic, ideology over imagination. As Snow White continued to stumble, the consequences rippled far beyond the movie itself. Disney executives, once bullish on live-action reboots, are now pulling back. Internal reports suggest that projects like Tangled, previously in early development, are now on indefinite hold. While publicly, Disney remains silent, insiders describe a company in retreat, reassessing its creative direction after several high-profile failures. The company's strategy of reinventing beloved classics with modern themes has hit a wall, and Snow White might be the moment that forced a corporate reckoning. But the fallout wasn't limited to financials. Co-stars began speaking out, most notably Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen. While careful not to name Zegler directly, Gadot gave a telling interview where she commented on the production experience. "The most important thing when working on a film is teamwork," she said, "and when you have characters like the evil queen and Snow White, you expect teamwork to be part of the creative process. We didn't really have that, and there were many setbacks. It was exhausting." Reality is, Snow White didn't just fail because of one actor or one script. It failed because of a tone-deaf approach to fan expectations. It failed because it alienated its core audience while trying to chase a new one. And it failed because its lead actress became increasingly combative instead of collaborative. Making things worse, Zegler's old controversies were dredged up again. Comments she made on social media years ago, particularly those targeting Trump voters, resurfaced, and conservative commentators pounced. Megyn Kelly, among others, labeled Zegler's previous apology as fake and performative, claiming the actress positioned herself as both victim and heroine without truly taking ownership of her rhetoric. One clip, in particular, reignited debate. In a speech from 2023, Zegler quoted the Louvre's Winged Victory statue, saying, "To everyone who hates when I win, the Winged Victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her." The comment, meant to be poetic, came off to critics as self-aggrandizing, painting Zegler as a martyr figure rather than someone navigating career consequences. To many, it wasn't vulnerability, it was branding. But then came a surprising turn. In the midst of all the chaos, Zegler shared an emotional post about her dog suffering from a mysterious illness. It was raw, heartfelt, and noticeably devoid of PR polish. And for a brief moment, the internet softened. The backlash quieted, and people remembered that behind the public persona is a human being going through something real. Still, sympathy has limits in Hollywood. As Zegler tries to rebuild, reports suggest that her upcoming roles are under review, casting directors are hesitant, studio execs are cautious. The industry, ever fixated on image, is unsure whether her name now carries too much controversy to justify the risk. And Snow White still hasn't crossed $100 million in the United States. For a Disney tentpole, that's not just a failure, that's a wake-up call. Audience trust is eroding, faith in the remake model is vanishing, and more than ever, fans are demanding sincerity over spin. So what really happened here? Was Rachel Zegler unfairly targeted, or was she simply unprepared for the intense spotlight that comes with leading a legacy reboot? Did Disney throw her into a no-win situation by greenlighting a divisive retelling of a beloved story? Or did Zegler's own choices, her words, her tone, her interviews, contribute to the public rejection? Truth is, probably all of the above. Hollywood often sets up its young stars to fail, then watches as they crash. But in this case, the fallout is bigger than one actor. It's a signal to the entire industry that audiences are tired of being preached to. They want to be entertained, not lectured. They want nostalgia, not revisionism. And when given the choice between a preachy princess and a Minecraft movie full of joy and adventure, they made their decision loud and clear. Jack Black didn't set out to win this culture war, but by being gracious, goofy, and grateful, became the unlikely champion of a simpler, more joyful era of storytelling. And as for Rachel Zegler, her story isn't over. Hollywood loves a comeback, but if she wants to reclaim her narrative, it might start with the one thing that's been missing all along: humility. What are your thoughts on this? Tell us in the comment section. Until next time, peace.